Hey, my name is James Lee. Thank you for tuning in to 5149. Today we are going to be covering a fun topic that has been talked about a lot actually, which is should airlines be blocking the middle seats on an aircraft during the pandemic? Now what's different here is that I'm going to be debunking the airline talking points on both sides, so both for and against blocking middle seats. So as of right now, most major US-based airlines, with the exception of Delta, Southwest, JetBlue, and Hawaiian, are no longer blocking the middle seats on flights. So if they can, they'll sell out a flight to capacity. And there's two primary reasons why they've decided to do this. First, of course, is money. The airlines say they don't know how long the pandemic is going to last and when that demand is going to bounce back. For example, on the latest earnings call, United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby stated that our responsibilities to our employees, our customers, and shareholders is to make sure that United is here for the long haul and provides as many good jobs as possible for our people. So essentially what he's saying here is that they are fighting for their survival and can't be bothered too much with this middle seat debate. And it's true. The airline business is extremely tough. There is a very high fixed cost to operate the business. And there's a bunch of variables such as weather, mechanical issues, and all kinds of other things that can throw off an airline's operations and then end up costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I would definitely expect airlines to be more financially conservative all the time. But these corporate executives and board members, they still can't help but get a little greedy. For example, between 2014 and 2019, United Airlines spent nearly $10 billion on stock buybacks. To put that in context, based on the $2.1 billion loss they posted last quarter, a big number, don't get me wrong, and assuming that they're going to continue to perform this poorly during the time of the pandemic, however long it lasts, if they didn't do the stock buybacks, they probably more than likely would have enough capital to ride out the COVID pandemic for at least the next year or a year and a half and wouldn't be needing a government bailout. But no, the shareholders decided to enrich themselves because they could. So to me, this fight for survival is ignoring the fact that they kind of made their own bed here, so to speak. Secondly, airlines are also claiming that it's not actually safer for the passengers if the middle seat is left empty. According to United's Chief Communications Officer, Scott Ernest, when it comes to blocking middle seats, that's a PR strategy. That's not a safety strategy. When you're on board the aircraft, if you're sitting in the aisle and the middle seat is empty, the person across the aisle from you is within 6 feet of you. The person at the window is within 6 feet of you. The people in the front row of you are within 6 feet of you. The people in the row behind you are within 6 feet of you. So you see what he's doing here. It's kind of clever, but he's framing the argument in a way that there can be only two outcomes. Either you are safe or you're unsafe. You either distance 6 feet or you don't distance at all. But guess what? According to scientists and doctors, 6 feet is just an arbitrary rule of thumb. And there's even some disagreements at the highest level on this distance. The World Health Organization recommends just 3 feet of physical distancing, while some emerging evidence suggests that the coronavirus can actually spread over much greater distances. But what everyone can agree on here is that more distance is better than less distance, and less distance is certainly better than no distance. A new study from an MIT researcher says there is an increased risk of contracting coronavirus if the middle seat on an airplane is filled. He says that the risk of contracting the virus on an airplane is 1 in 7,700 if the middle seats are left empty, and 1 in 4,300 if the middle seats are filled. So in terms of the claim that it's purely PR, it isn't entirely true. But I'm going to return to this point in a second. But for now, I'm going to shift gears a little bit into the other side, discussing the case for blocking middle seats. Now there's 3 major airlines, Delta, Southwest, and JetBlue, as well as the smaller carrier Hawaiian, that have publicly announced that they will be blocking middle seats until at least September. Now going back to the science I was just talking about, the common consensus here is that some distance is better than no distance, but how much safer it is, nobody's really sure, and there's no way to 100% eliminate the risk of contracting COVID. So while these airline executives are touting safety as the driving force behind their decision to block the middle seats, there's actually something else going on here. The CEO of Delta Airlines, Ed Bastian, said something actually pretty revealing during an interview, stating that I'd rather have more flights back and more seats into the market in a safe way than try to maximize the number of people you can put on an individual airplane. And I think that would be inconsistent with the brand that Delta represents. Okay, so it's a branding move, and better brand equity leads to more sales, higher margins, and ultimately more profit and more money in the shareholders' pockets. Now, Delta, I'm guessing along with some of the other airlines as well with the same policies, is making a bet that customers will choose to fly with them because of these policies. An airline industry insider revealed that though it's likely unprofitable to block the middle seats, Delta is betting that it will be remembered as the airline that maximized onboard safety during the pandemic. Once the industry resets post-pandemic, it's hoping that these moves will buy long-term loyalty. So essentially what they're saying here is that we're going to lose a little bit more money now so we can make more money later. Still a money decision, but it's kind of a long-term view versus a short-term view. Now, whether that bet's going to work, we'll have to wait and see. But my point in going through this comparison is to highlight that nothing really ever is what it seems. The truth is always based on a set of assumptions. Now, we need to understand and dissect these assumptions to really know what's going on behind the curtains. But if I'm speaking frankly, although I think that all airlines, including the quote-unquote good airlines like Delta, they're all seeking to profit maximize in one way or another, I'll always favor policies that benefit humanity. There's no doubt that as a passenger, pandemic or not, it is better when nobody's in the middle seat. And if an airline is factoring in passenger safety and comfort into their business decisions, I'm certainly not going to fight it. It's like, if I don't really care if someone's doing community service so they can put it on their resume, or they're doing it because they have to for probation, or if they just like it. The fact, community service is getting done, and that to me ultimately is a good thing. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think and where you sit on this debate. This video is just a little teaser into what I mean by factoring in humanity into the equation of profit maximization. I'm gonna go into this in a future video, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. As always, thank you so much for supporting independent media. My name is James Lee, and I appreciate your time.